Pretty privilege is alive and well. The girls call it preference, right? But it's not. Like, I don't understand the whole coming out thing, right? Hey guys, how are you? Today I wanted to talk about a topic within a topic, which is controversial, but it's very real and it's very valid. I haven't seen... Oh no, don't tell me my eyes are red now. Fuck. Honestly, I feel like I haven't seen people talk about this. And today is going to be the day that I talk about my experience. I'd like to welcome you to the pretty, the privileged, and the forgotten, and how this is my LGBTQ reality. I've always had the impression and been under the impression that the LGBTQ community was about acceptance and equality, but I feel like there's certain rules to the community that really challenge that, negate that. You know, before we get into the main body of the video, I want to preface the fact that this video is not an attack. It's not to exclude anyone. It's not to blame anyone. It is not to tear anyone down. I'm literally an active person in the community, but I'm just sharing my experience. It's about understanding that there's a space for all of us, right? And that we don't always have to be the people that everyone expects us to be. Like, being gay doesn't mean I have to do this or I have to do that. Growing up gay. Let's talk about growing up gay. When I was growing up, honestly, when I was growing up and I first came to terms with like who I was and realizing that I liked men, I was like at first, oh, I'm definitely bi. Like, I still like women, like I definitely like women, I'm bi, right? And to anyone that would ask, I would say that I was bi, right? Because that was probably the most socially acceptable thing at the time. And yeah, I just tell people I'm bi. Obviously, very much in denial, darling, but you know, you can't invalidate your own experience. There was a part of me that thought, you know, that coming out was going to be the hard part, you know. And as I grew older, I came to the realization that why are straight people not coming out? Like, why am I expected to come out, announce this big thing? I like men, I like men, I like men. What the fuck are you talking about, bro? What do you mean I need to come out and fully like admit and just like state, oh yeah, I'm gay? Like, I don't understand the whole coming out thing, right? And that made me question, going, why the fuck do I have to come out? Like, why do I have to come out? These straight people ain't coming out. They're not saying, oh yeah, I like women. Like, okay man, I don't give a fuck. Like, why am I having to feel the need to come out and announce something that really isn't that fucking big of a deal? It's my sexual preference and that's about it. Point blank period. When you look at it like that, it's like, it is my sexual preference and that is it. Right? So in my late teens, 16, 17, 18, I slowly kept creeping towards the conclusion that I didn't feel the need to come out, to announce it, to say that I was gay and say that I was this. I didn't feel the need because, as I said before, straight people don't come out. So I thought to myself, well, why am I coming out? Long story short, how my parents found out was the fact that my mom asked me when I was about 18, she was like, hey, Santino, are you gay? And I said to my mom, yes, mom, I am gay. And that's literally how my parents found out. I didn't really make a big deal out of it. I didn't feel the need to. What's crazy and funny to me is that nobody tells you this. Nobody told you this. But there's literally a whole second layer. There's a whole second layer. You come out, right? Or you don't come out like me. You're becoming proud of who you are, coming to terms with who you are. But then you realize you've still got to figure out what kind of gay you actually are. The truth there, crazy. Like, it's so fucking true. Like, yeah, okay, I came out, but who the fuck am I? For real. Like, coming out doesn't mean you're basically figured out as a person. No. I'll be honest, a lot of the spaces that I found didn't feel like me. I was loud, but I wasn't hypersexual or into the crazy drugs and party scene. I didn't tick all the boxes that the queer media love to highlight. I came to the conclusion that I didn't fit the stereotype even within the community. It's taken me a long time to find this distinction and to really understand the difference. But, I, as of now, stopped trying to fit in to the stereotype, stopped trying to be like everybody else and all the other girlies out there, because then I'm not being true to my own experience. Queerness isn't one vibe. It's not one label, and it's not one way of dressing or speaking. Think about it like this. It's a spectrum, and I exist on the parts that don't get shown off as much. And honestly, I'm proud of that. I keep using the word honestly. Speaking my truth, I'm speaking my truth. Double standards, pretty privilege, love and hate, drugs and sex. For a community that's built its identity around equality, freedom, and acceptance, we've built some very weird boxes for ourselves. As I said before, I'm not here to shame anyone. I'm just here to share my experience. I just think it's time to talk about the double standards that no one wants to admit. Pretty privilege is alive and well. If you're hot, if you're femme, if you're straight acting, if you dress well, if you have the right friends and follow the aesthetic rules, the queers roll out a red carpet for you. More likes, more attention, more desirability. However, if you're not femme enough, too fat, too awkward, or too real, nobody wants to know you. You get sidelined, and even worse, sometimes you become a punchline. We say we love all body types and all people, but really, we keep rewarding the same people. Just scroll through your feed. You know what I'm talking about. Instagram, Twitter, that shit. The girls call it preference, right? But it's not. Even in dating, right? Even in dating, this is probably the worst place for it. We hear things like, no femmes, no masks, no trannies, I don't want people who are fat, I don't like this, I don't like POC, like, let's be real. People call it preference, and I'm a sole believer of preference because it's real. But let's be real, it's basically prejudice in disguise. Done. Okay, moving on. Then there's woke policy. If you don't know all the right terms, if you don't have the same opinions, or your identity isn't perfectly packaged, you get side-eyed and sidelined. In some cases, even invalidated. Now, I'm not talking about people who are just morally fucked up and people who just have the wrong opinions and are genuinely shitty people, but I'm talking about the people who just go, oh, I didn't even know that's a thing, or I didn't even know that, or I'm not caught up because I'm not really that engrossed in the community, and they're sidelined. Huh? Instead of provoking conversation, I feel like this space has really put this pressure to perform like a perfect queerness, or to just like stay quiet, stay out of it. And while we're here, let's talk about money. So many of our spaces revolve around nightlife, fashion, festivals, and online aesthetics and presence. If you can't afford the lifestyle, or you don't care to play the game, basically, sometimes you're made to feel like you're not even a part of the community at all, that you're an outlier, an alien. So yeah, in my opinion, I feel like we've got some stuff to work on. Acceptance shouldn't come with a stereotype, a dress code, a body type, a bank account, or a following. Section 3, not bitter, just honest. Here's the thing, I'm not bitter, I'm not angry. I'm not out here begging to be included in spaces that don't see me and don't want me. I'm just done pretending that I need them to feel valid. The truth is, not fitting in has given me a lot of clarity. It's taught me how to show up as myself, who I am, no blueprint, and no approval needed. I don't see queerness as something that needs to be loud, needs to be aesthetic, needs to be constantly explained. In the grand scheme of things, sometimes it's soft, and sometimes it's messy, and sometimes it's quiet, right? Or sometimes it's loud and crazy and obnoxious. And they're still all real, they're still all valid. Over the years, as I've gotten older, I found that I don't have to subscribe to like a queer archetype on who to be. Basically, I don't owe anyone a performance, and neither do you. I'm not the loudest in every room. I'm not an every weekend type of party person. I'm not a meme. I'm not a token, and I'm not a rebrand, right? I'm just me. I'm Santino. And that's enough. Before I end this section, I just want to say there's room for the soft-spoken. There's room for people who don't want to conform. There's room for the in-betweeners, and there's room for people who are still figuring it all out. Because life is a forever figuring out game. It really is. Section 4. Fear of being basic. In the way of the world today, we're surrounded by media. It's basically shoved down our throat. And it's basically inescapable. From social media, to YouTube, to ads, and to influencers. The aesthetics we see every day are continually shaping the way that we should think, feel, and even express ourselves. I feel like back in the day, it used to be much different finding yourself, you know, and kind of finding who you were. I feel like now what used to be like finding your own style, finding a niche, what you were attracted to, now feels like a fucking running race. It literally feels like a running race. Like everyone's on a mission to get found out, to figure themselves out, to do this, to do that. Because I found, even me, how I feel personally, and that's why I want to talk about this. Because you don't fit into a certain aesthetic or don't follow the latest trends, there is this like communal feeling of like being basic, right? Being basic. My question is like, what does basic even mean anymore? Are we so consumed by all this media and everything around us that we've actually lost touch with what is actually authentically ours and what we're actually genuinely interested in? I feel like for some people, this is not everyone, of course, instead of like letting our identity evolve to what we actually want to do, we can feel pressured to just pick from what's trending, to just do what everyone else is doing, to fit in, to be cute, to be aesthetic. My friend said this to me, right? My friend said this to me, that potentially aesthetics could be warping our sense of being. And here's the thing, it's not that that's a bad thing, right? But it's just the fact that maybe this is what is changing and happening all around us. Personally, when we get lost with all this noise and chaos happening around us, the truth gets clouded and it gets distorted. Your identity, my identity, our identities should be personal, not dictated by the next viral trend or next influencer. No. Section 5, redefining how I belong. Before I get into this next part, the sun is literally setting. It's so overcast, so I'm sorry if the lighting's getting worse and worse and worse. But let's get into the last section. So I used to think that not fitting in meant that I was doing something wrong, that maybe I wasn't gay enough or queer in the right way. But now I see it totally different. Not fitting in isn't a flaw. It's a sign that something new is forming, something that doesn't need a mold or a rule book. I said this already. I'm not here to tear the community down. I'm here to make space. For you, for me, for us, the ones who live in the margins of the margins. I want to say this because it's important, but we don't have to shrink ourselves down to be important, to be seen, to be accepted. Not by the straight world, and most definitely not by our own. If queerness is about being free, about being equal, then let's actually be truly free. Actually all be equal. So, this is me. Queer, but not always the loudest in the room. Proud, but not always seen. And I'm done waiting for a space that's gonna fit me. I'm gonna build my own. And if you've ever felt like you don't quite belong, maybe it's not you. Maybe it's just time to try something new. Oh my god, I'm done, thank fuck. Oof. Thank you to everyone that watched this video. I really appreciate you being here and hearing my experience and my side of the story and my truth. It's something that, is controversial, but honestly, as I said 3-4 times already, I'm not here to tear anyone down. I just want to speak my experience. And quite frankly, there are double standards that I've talked about and they're so fucking real. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've got any thoughts or feedback or feelings on what I mentioned and talked about, please comment below. I am all about an open space that has space for everyone and we can talk about all things and have conversations. But I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for coming on the journey. I'm very excited for what's coming next for the channel. Thank you again. If you're new here, thank you for staying along the ride and welcome to the family. And I'll see you guys later. Okay, bye squad. Yeah.
My legs. Guys, my legs are so sore.